welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Get to our in-studio guest, Jamieson Welsh, here in just a few minutes. We had a few people waiting on hold, so I always have a deep love for some of our callers, even the ones that call me names. I still have a love for them, JD. You know that, right? Sorry, I don't want to disturb you from texting on your phone. I'm sorry. Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll get to some of your calls, and we're still talking about, of course, this bar testimony that took place today, and big news day. I did want to get to Tommy Lauren and Alyssa Milano, but we might have to save that a little bit for later. But let's get back to the calls at 257-5396, and let's lead off this segment with Eugene. Eugene, thanks for waiting on hold. How are you? Eugene, are you there? I think we lost Eugene. Okay, well, that's unfortunate because Eugene was waiting on hold for a while. Let's get to Scott. Scott, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you doing, Scott?
Not too bad. How are you?
Doing good.
I'm worried about you.
Why are you worried about? Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
No, JD, are you there? Why didn't you intervene tonight?
Yeah, I'm here. Brian was on kind of a roll, and the callers were talking just as fast as he was. There wasn't really much of an opportunity for me to do so.
Well, don't blame me for everything. You showed up at 6:30.
I'm not suggesting that I didn't show up at 6:30, but you were on a roll. The callers were right there with you, so that's why I didn't say a lot tonight. But yeah, I'm here.
That's fair.
Here. I'm functional.
Fair. He's here, Scott.
He is there. But it's so quiet.
So why are you worried about me?
Oh, God. I really, maybe I shouldn't go into this. I don't know.
No, please do. Please do. For our listeners, please do. I think they deserve to know. Why are you worried about me? So I'm a normal dude. Well, maybe not normal, but on the radio, I think I'm fair.
Normal dude.
Yeah, I mean, I look. Somebody called in and criticized Holder. I agree. I compare Holder to Barr in a lot of ways. I was not a big fan of the. Hold on, I'm not a big fan of the Obama administration. I voted for Mitt Romney. I am obviously not a fan of Donald Trump, and I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I think he's a bad guy, and I think Barr is a liar. So why would you be worried about me?
Oh, Brian, it's all political theater. Come on.
It's all what?
Political theater.
Well, I mean, you just dismiss it as political theater, but I think a lot of big Trump supporters, all they did was criticize Barack Obama for 8 years. They didn't call it political theater. They didn't push it aside. No, I don't think it's political theater. I think there's a lot of bad people in government.
Oh God, he was oh my God. Let me go into your station. I'm gonna bring my briefcase with me, and I have evidence of things you would not believe about Barack Obama.
Okay, well, I mean, I think I'd lose all my audience if you did that with your briefcase. But regardless of that, why? What have I said? What have I said in this hour? And then I got to let you go. What did I say that worries you about me? What did I say that is factually inaccurate, or maybe even an opinion that you disagree with? And let's talk about it.
No, I was going to, be very insulting, but I can't do that to you.
Well, you can insult me, but just come up with a reason why. If I call somebody an idiot or a right-wing hack, I usually have reasons for it, and I explain those reasons. What did I say in the first hour of this show specifically that would cause you to, call me a name or be worried about me? I'm giving you an example.
I'm not calling you a name.
Okay, well, I'm asking you to be specific because
you're talking about.
You've been on the phone for 3 minutes.
Attorney General Barr lying.
Yes. I just I just flat out explained why he lied, and I have the quote right here.
Have you heard Loretta Lynch when she was Attorney General?
Why is it you can't? First of all, I'm not talking about Loretta Lynch, and I am not a fan of hers. Okay,
well, let's do comparisons. Can we do a comparison?
I just compared Eric Holder. What do you want from me? Barr is a liar. I just gave you a quote. He is a liar. He lied today.
So was Loretta Lynch.
Fine. So what's your point? So why am I wrong?
Well, I guess we're both wrong. I guess we're sinking in the same boat.
Listen, Scott, I'm worried about you. Okay, Scott, I'm worried about you, Scott. I'm going to show up at your house with a briefcase, and I'm just going to show up and debate you at your house. What do you think about that? Anyway, I'm worried about you, Scott. Thank you. JD, what was the point of that phone call? What was the point of that call? He brings up Loretta Lynch.
I think he wanted to come in studio.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I think that was the point of the call.
That's not going to happen.
Talk badly about Barack Obama.
Yeah, well, we'd lose all of our listeners if that happened. Anyway, we were talking about Barr. We will continue this conversation tomorrow. By the way, Danny Tarkanian, son of the late, great Jerry Tarkanian, will be joining us in studio tomorrow. I know it is going to be an interesting show. Every time Danny comes in studio. It happens every single time. Okay, I got to squeeze in one more quick call, and then we'll get to Jamieson. Let's go to Seth. Seth, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, Seth?
All right. So you've been calling William Barr a liar this whole time. How is okay?
Wait, are you the same Seth who called in
Yes,
hour
I
one?
am.
No, losers don't get to call into the show twice. Goodbye, Seth. You're gone. Goodbye. You had your chance to call in, okay? You're like one of those people as a kid, you show up to a house and you get all the candy, and then you show up again 5 minutes later. No, life doesn't work like that, Seth. You have one shot at it, okay? You go up and you ask a girl out on a date at a bar, and she says no. Seth is the kind of guy that'll ask her again. He'll stalk her, and he'll ask her again 5 minutes later. He'll go up to the bar, and I know you said no. I know you don't want my number, but can I have your number? Like, Seth is that guy. Sorry, Seth. I'll give you another shot at it tomorrow, and you could fail tomorrow just like you did today. Anyway, joining us in studio right now, Jamieson always says, what did I get myself into here the first 5 minutes of this segment? Anyway, he is our hoops guru. I've known Jamieson for years. Not only is he a great guy, but he is, and I mean this sincerely, in this town, he is the most knowledgeable basketball person I have ever met. And I've met a lot of them. You are by far. So
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming in, Jamieson. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm a little flustered with some of these. I wouldn't say I'm flustered. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting into it with some of these callers, but it's been like an hour straight. Oh, boy, we have another caller. Jamieson, will you help me with this call? I know politics are not really your thing.
That's not my thing, man. That's not my thing.
Let's see if you could help me with this call, and let's go to Mike. Mike, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, just calling in. I think Seth is 100% right. Again, Kool-Aid Brian.
Okay, is that all you have to say, Mike? I was waiting for you to actually make a
your conversation on Barr earlier, saying that he's wrong is, you're totally incorrect.
Thank you. You've made that point, but I'm asking you for specifics. What have I said that is wrong?
That he is in fault.
I called him a liar. Would you like an example of why he's a liar, Mike? Do you want me to say it again?
Okay, so him as the Attorney General is a liar.
Would you like me to give you an example that proves my point? Is that what you'd like to hear?
Because you claim to not be a Democrat. But
okay, now you're changing the subject. Now you're changing the subject. I called Barr a liar. Okay, we'll get to the Democrat thing in a second. I have a quote which proves he is a liar from today. I'm willing to read it again. I've read it 3 times. Would you like me to read it again?
I know you've read it 3 times.
Okay.
You've drank the Kool-Aid.
No, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Explain to me what in that quote does not make him a liar. Let's be specific. You can call me names all you want to, but let's be specific here. I gave a quote from Mueller. They had a conversation on the phone where both admitted that they had that conversation. And then after that conversation, Barr was asked about it, and he said he had no idea what Mueller was talking about, basically. I read the entire quote. I've read it 3 times today. Where am I wrong? How is Barr not a liar? Please explain, Mr. Kool-Aid.
Barr is not a liar. He's not charged with the one that's supposed to challenge him with the conviction.
You are making absolutely no sense. Did you get off the short bus in high school? You are making no sense at all. What are you talking about?
Kool-Aid Brian, come on, bud.
Kool-Aid. I like Kool-Aid. I like cherry. I like grape. You're Kool-Aid. You're Kool-Aid Mike. How about I'll call you? What do you think about that?
To wash the purple off.
You have called in and you have made no point. You have sound like a complete buffoon. I have destroyed you, and you still have yet to make a point. All you've said is I drink Kool-Aid, and you've come up with nothing specific to counter my facts.
Oh, you didn't vote for Hillary.
No, I didn't. So you're wrong on that one too.
Romney. Come on.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Please.
What's next? What do you mean, please? You know my voting record? Mike, what is your IQ? Really? I mean, how smart are you? Are you able to have an intelligent debate with somebody besides calling them Kool-Aid? Look, I have a very smart guest in studio. He's about 30 times smarter than you. Goodbye. Good grief, man. Jamieson, this is what I have to deal. By the way, I like Kool-Aid. I like grape. I like cherry.
Kool-Aid.
I enjoy Kool-Aid.
I'll break out. I can't do. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to relate this to basketball. Okay. When you disagree with somebody on something. Let's just say in your mind you think they're an idiot and they say something, even if, and I know you wouldn't do this because you're very respectful, you're not like me. Even if you're thinking they're an idiot, wouldn't you say, well, no, I disagree with you and here's why? Wouldn't you come up with reasoning behind why you think they're an idiot?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, I don't get in arguments about basketball anymore. I don't, because, it's just too many important things to worry about. I don't have enough energy for that right now, so... but it is what it is. But here's the thing: basketball blogs and Twitter is a very funny thing because there's people who will argue with you the whole year, and they see you in summer league, and they'll be like trying to hug you. So it's kind of weird.
two-faced.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. You'll see people like who disagree with you, who don't like you. Who you
Sounds like our last UNLV basketball coach.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna do that.
I got a little smirk from JD on that one.
We're not gonna let Menzies. Menzies is in Arizona right now. He's doing his thing out there.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about that.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a new era here. A lot of shooters.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. Let's talk a little UNLV basketball.
That's
quickly.
all they recruit. Like it's strictly shooters. Like from what I've seen, it's strictly like all right, all the local kids that are coming up in the next few classes. But all this year's just all shooters. Like they want to get all shooting on the roster. So basically, his system's going to be
like the BYU system,
kind of, but with better athletes.
What do you? I mean, we've struggled at UNLV. I shouldn't say we. I don't know why I say that.
Right.
UNLV has struggled as far as getting guys who could shoot the basketball.
Correct.
So this is like a 180 compared to what this team has been the last 5 or 6
with better
years.
athletes. Like they have a lot more better athletes.
Okay, so
than BYU.
they're picked like at the bottom of the barrel in the Mountain West Conference.
And they should be because new coach. You don't know what you're going to get. Even though some guys are returning, the main guy hasn't returned.
We saw that with Utah State too, where they were picked at the bottom.
But they have a first rounder on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce his name, but he's
their center. Yeah,
he's probably going to be in the NBA draft.
Sam Merrill's coming back, right?
Yeah, he's coming back. Yeah.
Sam will get a look.
Yeah, no, Sam. If you can shoot it, if all the people out there who have children that play basketball, shoot the basketball, handle the basketball. Right. If you can do those two, you'll go very far.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but we hope Otzelberger going to keep recruiting.
They're gonna get a lot of threes up next year.
Well, look, I'm all for look. This is in the past now who they hired. Mm-hmm. We got TJ Otzelberger. Let's all see what he can do, and I think everyone should give him that opportunity. Okay, let me start off. We had Tim Donaghy on the show the other day, who is the NBA official who went to jail for basically fixing games. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And he seemed to think that that was a complete screw job with the Golden State Warriors in Houston in Game 1, the final couple minutes. At the same time, I hear the other argument that Chris Paul needs to control himself. You can't go at an official like that. Look, James Harden and Chris Paul are two guys that have never gotten it done in the playoffs. They've never gotten over the hump. And I understand they're playing the Golden State Warriors, certainly the best team in the league, even without DeMarcus Cousins. But with that being said, I mean, does Houston have any chance at all at winning?
So I thought going into the series, I thought Golden State in 5. Just because of they're the better team. Durant's playing at an amazing level, and it's just the matchups. Last year, Houston had a better defensive identity. They had Ariza, they had Mambute, even though he didn't play that much in the conference finals. But they had more of a defensive identity. This year, their offense is still good, but their defense isn't the same. Even though the games have been close, you can tell the Warriors really aren't fazed by anything Houston does. Like last year, the Warriors had to go through their offensive sets. Their offense was kind of mucky. This year, they're just going through their sets and getting buckets whenever they want to. It's a little bit different this year, but I will say with Harden is this. I don't really put on Harden that much. I'm more putting on D'Antoni because this system of having one guy ISO for 100 games a year never works. You wear down. That's a system that really drains you. Even the most well-conditioned athletes to ever play said it. T-Mac and Kobe were like, yeah, this isn't going to last. Like, he's going to wear down, and he's wearing down as we see. And also, shooting step-back threes is tough. You're a shooter. Imagine stepping back from 25 feet 10 times a game. That's very tough to do.
And Jamieson, I don't know if you agree. I feel like the only way that Houston can win a game, he's got to score at least 40, maybe even 50 for them to win.
So here, that's the thing. It's not about him. It's the others. It's always the others. You got to have.
I don't have confidence in the others.
See, but that's the issue. Your others got to play. Last night, Draymond Green and Iguodala had really good games. That's what put the Warriors over the top. That's what kept them at pace.
Right.
Because Kevin Durant didn't have a great game. He had a really good game, but it wasn't the 40-piece he's been doing the last 2 weeks. But the other guy, Iguodala, looks like he's 28 again. Draymond Green looks like it's 2015 again. Those are the guys. So for Houston, I'm looking at P.J. Tucker. I'm looking at Capella, Eric Gordon, even though he's been playing well this series, Gerald Green, Austin Rivers. Like, those guys have to continue to put up decent numbers. If they don't, it's going to be a short series.
So you picked Golden State Warriors in 5. I'm kind of agreeing with you where we are in the series right now. I do think Houston gets 1 in Houston. I think that's fair. And then I think Golden State takes care of business probably in Game 5. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Looking at, by the way, the scoreboard right now, the NBA scoreboard, Portland putting a beating on Denver right now, up 50-35 at halftime.
Should be more.
I agree. They were up a few. Gosh, Denver only scores 12 points in the second quarter. That's pretty brutal.
32% or something.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Houston and Golden State. We'll see what happens in Game 3. If I'm not mistaken, is Game 3 Thursday or Friday?
For
Houston and
Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday. Okay, so a lot of time to rest.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over to the East real quick. I want to talk a little Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks put up a pretty good performance yesterday. They played well. I like the way the Celtics are playing, though, and I think the Bucks are in trouble in this series. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Did you see the second half yesterday?
I did.
Right.
Well, Kyrie Irving was terrible.
Right, but here's the thing with the Celtics. This is the first 2 games is a microcosm of their whole season. Up and down. 1 minute, they look amazing.
Well, to me, it's Kyrie Irving.
No,
he had a horrible game yesterday.
It wasn't just him, though. It wasn't just him.
When he's clicking, they're clicking.
Yeah, I hear. Okay.
You can't go 2 for 11 from the field and expect to win.
He had a rough night, but here's the thing.
Chris Middleton also went 7 of 10 from 3.
Ran a lot of open
That's not going to happen again.
No, but he'll hit his 3. I mean, he's known for that.
He's not going to go 7 for 10.
No, but he may hit 7 in the game, though. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. The issue with Boston is this. Just in general, they've been up and down the whole year. They rarely get all their guys going on the same night. So, for instance, if Horford and Morris are having a good night, then Jaylen Brown and Tatum don't. Very rarely do all of them have a good night. And that's the odd part about this team. They have a bunch of talent. Probably the most talented team out east. 1 to 12. They're probably the most talented roster. However, they don't get going all on the same night. Don't know what it is. Don't know exactly what the situation is. I haven't really put my finger on it, but they don't all get going on the same night. Now, Kyrie, we all know he's capable of any given moment. He could take over a quarter or a game. But with that being said, Milwaukee's had their backs against the walls yesterday. They were not going down 0-2 at home. That wasn't going to happen. Now, we didn't think it was going to be a 25-point game, but at the end of the day, I still think Milwaukee has certain challenges of their own that they present. And if Bledsoe and, like JD said, Middleton show up, we have a long, really good series.
I think this is a very intriguing series. I really do. And a lot of people thought that the Golden State – and look, there's Golden State, Houston, yeah, they're down 2-0. A lot of people are counting them out. Maybe Houston does something spectacular. I doubt it, but let's wait and see what happens. I do think the Celtics-Bucks series will probably go 7. I think a big part of the Boston Celtics – Gordon Hayward, I think, and look, he's not playing the way he once was, but he's playing a lot better right now than he was 6 months ago.
He's healthier.
Yeah, and that to me, Al Horford is a huge part of the team as well. When he's playing well down low, when he's playing really well, that team is tough to beat.
So, Brian, Al Horford is the most important player on the Celtics.
I agree.
He's the guy on both ends. Defensively, he anchors everything. Offensively, you know what you're going to get. He's not going to get you 35 and 20. That's not his game, but when you need a pick-and-roll jumper, he's going to hit it. You need a bucket down low, he's going to get it. You need him to set a good screen to get somebody open. He can do that without moving. Like every little thing he does is huge for teams that win. So it's not going to show up in the box score. He's not going to have a bunch of crazy stat lines, but every now and then when you need a play for winning basketball, he makes. So to me, he's the most important player. He can't get hurt or he can't have a bad night. So the key for him is going to be staying out of foul trouble guarding Giannis, because as the series goes on, Giannis is going to learn Horford more and more. And if he gets in foul trouble, that could be trouble for Boston going forward.
All right, so give me your pick. The series is tied 1-1 right now. Do you think the Celtics defeat the Milwaukee Bucks? Milwaukee was favored, by the way, in this series.
Yeah, and they should have been. They should have been. Bucks in 7. Bucks in 7. Yes.
JD, do you agree with that? What's your pick on that one?
Considering the Bucks are the only team that outside of the Warriors I don't have futures on, I hope that's not the case. But it's definitely going to go to 6 or 7. It's not going to be a series anytime soon. I do agree with Jamieson. The Celtics are extremely talented, but they just haven't really put it together. Is Brogdon going to be back at all?
He's coming back tomorrow. I think
he's
Friday.
Coming back on Friday.
Yeah, game 3 or game 4. He's coming back.
Then they could win in 5. Brogdon is extremely good.
He's good, but the Celtics are going to win. The Celtics aren't losing both at home. We know how that goes. They're not going to lose. They may lose one, but they're not losing both. Think about the Celtics, though. The one thing I would key in on is their young guys got to play better. Brown and Tatum have to play better. It's very weird how they're so inconsistent, because last year they were pretty much given 35 minutes and told they could do whatever they want, and this year it's a little bit different when guys came back. They have to get those guys going consistently. Tatum's too good and too much of a weapon to be scoring 5 points in a playoff game. So I really want to see Brad Stevens get him going early, because all the other guys are veterans. They can get going, but you got to run a player or two to get Tatum going early.
What really dug the hole for the Celtics was Chris Middleton just having that huge first half and blowing up the way he did. And I think Kyrie was 4 of 17 with like 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
But
he played Russell Westbrook playoff bad.
So here's the thing: Bledsoe is the key for them. When he plays well, they're tough to beat, almost impossible to beat. But when he plays bad, like in game 1, they're just a regular team, because Middleton's going to get you his 17 to 20 points.
Right.
Giannis is going to get whatever he averages, around between 25 and 30. After that, they have a lot of role players. You don't know what you're going to get.
Let me ask you this.
So if they're hitting their threes, they're basically unbeatable.
Let me ask you this, Jamieson. What is best for the league for the NBA Finals? What is the best matchup for the league?
That's a hell of a question. Golden State in one category because
we know that, but
out east.
I'm curious.
Here's the thing. Out east, all matchups are good because there's a selling point with everything. Toronto,
See, I don't think Toronto Golden State is good for the NBA.
I think it is because
you have a top 4 player,
and you've got to integrate Drake as well.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on. Like, whenever you have a top 5 player playing, you're in great shape. Like that's the key. It's not necessarily the market per se; it's the players. The NBA is a players league. So if you have a top 4 or 5 player in the league, or top 3, whatever you want to rate Kawhi, then yeah, you're fine. Milwaukee would be interesting because that's a very small market, but they have Giannis. Mm-hmm. They are hoping for either Boston or Philly though. Because you have 2 big cities with 2 big storylines. The Philly makes you have Embiid on the final stage. You have Ben Simmons. You got Jimmy Butler saying crazy stuff. You have a lot going on, and then of course Boston's Boston. Like they have half the media is from Boston, so that that's enough there. So yeah, it would be very interesting.
He is Jamieson Welsh.
And especially if the Bruins win the Stanley Cup, then you've got the Red Sox, the Patriots, the Bruins, and then if the Celtics have the opportunity, that would be the first time.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. He
is Jamieson Welsh from Drive Time Sports, our hoops guru, and we'll take some phone calls now. If you have a question for our hoops guru, Jamieson Welsh, maybe you're thinking of even throwing a few bucks on a game tomorrow, or maybe a future. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship? Do you have a dark horse in there? We will take your calls right now with Jamieson. 257-5396. Again, the number to call to be a part of the program. Any hoops question, Jamieson will have the answer. I can almost guarantee it. 257-5396. Let's start off with Scott. Scott, you're on with Jamieson. What's on your mind, my friend?
What I get a kick out of, gentlemen, is, I guess, people have to talk about something during the 5 months of the NBA regular season. But the Warriors, they have a really good half-court defensive team. Like, I know Iguodala, he is so tough mentally. People have been knocking the Warriors bench all season. They've got plenty left in the tank. Looney's a lot better than people think. Iguodala is healthy.
Yeah.
The kid, who's the guy, Jameson, the 6'8" guy they bring off the bench, who's just took McCaw's place? Who is that?
Alfonso McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney. Yeah.
He's a serviceable role player for the Warriors. I mean, all he does is defend and has to hit, go 1-2, 1-3.
Scott, I just want to say I agree with you. A lot of people complain about Golden State and that they're not deep. And look, all these guys, majority of these guys have been there before. Good coaching staff, good bench, great starting lineup, best starting lineup in the NBA. I think that's fair to say. They're the clear odds-on favorite. There's no question about it. What they did with Houston, look, if there was any game that Houston was going to quote-unquote steal, last night would have been that night. The refs were going to be on their side. They couldn't get it done. Golden State won the game. Right, Jameson?
Let me ask you this, James. Let me ask you. Like Curry, this is what, 9th, 10th year in the NBA. People blast him, he's a poor defensive player. I never see him just getting absolutely killed on dribble penetration. He doesn't get blasted off the dribble. He stays in front of this guy. In his counter move, he might get beat, but everybody does in the NBA. He's fine defensively.
Well, so here's the thing. His biggest issue is he fouls a lot defensively. That's his biggest issue. However, he plays within the scheme defensively. The one thing that's good about Golden State is their defense is just as good, if not better, than their offense. And it's been like that for 5 years. Their defense is very, very good.
They just shade guys to spots on the floor.
Right. His biggest issue is that he likes to reach and grab too much, and that's a big issue. He gets in foul trouble often about that. But other than that, he does what his role is needed for that particular scheme. Whenever you have a team that has 3 all-league type of defenders, then you don't need to be an amazing defender at the point. Just do your job, and you'll be fine.
Yep.
Right. I mean, yeah. I just, I know you got to drum up something. It's a long regular season. I mean, Iguodala, people said he was washed up, right? I remember a month ago, guys were saying he's washed up.
Who said that?
He's just the national shows.
He's been bad. He was bad in the regular season. Like, he was bad. Part of it, he had a little injury, but he was shooting really poorly.
He always comes up big in big games. Reminds me a little bit of Robert Horry when it comes to that stuff.
He's been suckering the for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Scott, and always good to hear from you, by the way. Thank you for the call. I forgot to ask you about this, Jamieson. By the way, if you want to be a part of the show, 257-5396. People are talking about James Harden and his blurred vision. He's got some vision issues. I would have some vision issues, too, if I was him, because every time he looks at the scoreboard in the playoffs, he's on the losing end. So I can understand why he's got some vision issues.
Like I said, I'm not going to put it all on James, though, man. I'm not going to put it all. I mean, he's going against think about this, man. The Warriors have knocked out Harden in the conference finals 2015, OKC, Kawhi, then Rockets. Getting there 3 out of 5, that's really tough. The Rockets have been really good. Somebody brought it up to my attention last night. Without the Warriors, you could argue the Rockets have a championship ring. It's just the wrong era. Just like Utah back in the 90s, just like the Knicks and the Pacers back in the 90s, sometimes you're against the wrong team, and it's just not your time.
Yeah. A friend of our show, Chris Wynn, said, I'll tell you what wouldn't be good for the NBA Finals if it was Toronto and Denver.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That would not be.
That's not happening at all.
That would not be a good Finals.
No.
By the way, we have a really big boxing fight in town.
We do.
Canelo Alvarez. So a lot of people in town to that fight. So I want to ask Jamieson a little bit about that. JD, your thoughts on that fight as well. This is a pretty big fight. It's a big fight in Vegas. So we'll get to that. We'll take some more of your phone calls when we come back at 257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the program, 257-5396. I'm going to say over-under on how many words Canelo says in the press conference that are English. I'm going to go 1.5 words. So I'm taking bets on that. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.